The conclusion to the third Star Wars trilogy has finally hit theaters. In The Rise of Skywalker, Rey, Finn, Poe, and the rest of our favorites return to save the galaxy and tie up some loose ends. Welcome to The Binger. Let's talk about 10 things The Rise of Skywalker got right in its galaxy far, far away. And be warned, this video contains spoilers.
Taking one last look at my friends.
In Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, Luke Skywalker and Han Solo are awarded medals of bravery and honor for destroying the Death Star. Princess Leia herself presents them with their medals, but Chewbacca, everyone's favorite Wookiee, doesn't get one. This has been a sore spot for fans who thought the Wookiee deserved one as much as his human friends. And luckily, this issue is put to rest in The Rise of Skywalker when Maz Kanata, a former pirate who now works with the Resistance, presents him with his medal. And after what Chewie has went through in the new trilogy, including the loss of Luke and Han, it's definitely about time that he gets a little bit of recognition. Since Supreme Leader Snoke met his end in The Last Jedi, fans have been wondering what villain would be terrorizing the galaxy in The Rise of Skywalker. The answer turns out to be Emperor Palpatine, who we all thought was gone after Darth Vader turned on him to save Luke in Episode 6. But Palpatine, considered one of the scariest villains in the franchise, doesn't lose so easily. It turns out that Palpatine was seriously injured and in hiding, but he comes back to reveal that Leader Snoke was actually just a creation of his that he cloned in a lab. But were there any hints in the previous two films to suggest that Palpatine would be making a return? Snoke may have seemed like the leader to us, but the Star Wars comics have mentioned Palpatine and his ability to clone and also possess bodies to keep himself alive, suggesting that he may have been Snoke the whole time. The reappearance of Palpatine allows the story to pay homage to the original trilogy when Kylo Ren defeats him to protect Rey, similar to how Darth Vader protected his son from the Sith Lord in Return of the Jedi. In another great throwback to the original trilogy, we find out that Palpatine is Rey's grandfather. That's right, Luke is not the only one to have family on the dark side. The Force Awakens also paid tribute to dark side family members when we found out that Kylo Ren was really Ben Solo, the son of Leia and Han Solo. But Palpatine's reveal is even more of a direct tribute to the relationship between Anakin and Luke. Palpatine tries to convince his granddaughter to come over to the dark side, and when she disagrees, he decides he will have to eliminate her. He doesn't have a change of heart like Darth Vader did, but Kylo Ren does. He sacrifices himself to save Rey and defeat the Emperor. So Palpatine has been thwarted again, and hopefully for good this time. Kylo's sacrifice to save Rey comes after tons of building up their relationship in the last two films. Kylo and Rey spent a lot of time trying to convince each other to choose between the light side and the dark side. We were all waiting to see if the final installment would finally bring them together. And that's exactly what we got, but not until after an epic lightsaber battle between the two young Jedi. They're rivals for most of the film, with Rey even driving her lightsaber through Kylo Ren's chest. But once Kylo comes over to the light side, he tosses his red lightsaber and fights his way through the Knights of Ren to get back to Rey. They fight Palpatine together and Kylo is fatally injured. When Rey falls, he gives everything he has left to save her. It's safe to say that no one saw a happy ending in the future for these two star-crossed allies, but the ending Kylo is given satisfies our need to see him become the good guy and make amends for his mistakes. C-3PO is one of our favorite droids, but he hasn't had a lot of screen time in the new trilogy. Thankfully, The Rise of Skywalker changes that and gives C-3PO a much larger role. In fact, he's central to the story. It turns out that his memory holds the secret translation of the Sith coordinates that will lead them to the Wayfinder, allowing them to track down Palpatine. C-3PO sacrifices his memory when the translation is extracted and spends the next little while confused and reintroducing himself to R2-D2. Besides his golden moments of comic relief, C-3PO also delivers some of the most heartfelt lines in the film, including when he says he's just taking one last look at his friends before they go off to battle the Emperor. Star Wars wouldn't be complete without a complicated father-son relationship. Han Solo and Kylo Ren are the new trilogy's tribute to Anakin and Luke, so it's only fitting that Kylo would get to have an emotional moment with his father. Han Solo appears as a vision and encourages Kylo to give up the dark side and go back to being Ben. The scene carries a message of love, forgiveness, and family. Kylo may have been the villain in The Force Awakens and ended his father's life, but Han appears to let us know that it's never too late to change and decide to be good. Kylo does pay for his mistakes when he sacrifices himself to save Rey, but we get to see him and his father gain some closure before Ben gives his life for the chance to do something right. Ever since the real-life passing of Carrie Fisher, we've known that the Rise of Skywalker was likely to show the loss of the beloved General Leia. Fisher has reprised her role as Leia posthumously with the help of some movie magic and previously recorded footage, but in the final film of the series, a proper farewell is in order. Before we have to officially say goodbye, we get to see a wonderful flashback scene of Leia and Luke training together. The scene takes place between the events of The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. So we get to see a young Luke and Leia in their prime, and it's revealed that Leia is more Force sensitive than we previously thought. Then, after Leia reaches out telepathically to Kylo, encouraging him to give up the dark side and find the Ben Solo within him, she becomes too weak and passes away. Leia using the Force to save someone else is a fitting way for her to use her final moments, and her end signifies the end of the original trio. Han, who we lost in The Force Awakens, Luke, who we lost in The Last Jedi, and now Leia. It's lucky for Rey that she got the opportunity to train with Leia before her passing. And it's lucky for us that we got to see Leia imparting her wisdom on the young Jedi one final time before leaving us. Billy D. Williams is back as Lando Calrissian in this new installment, making it his first appearance as the character since the Return of the Jedi in 1983. While Donald Glover played a young Lando in 2018's Solo: A Star Wars Story, the original Calrissian is back for the Rise of Skywalker. Williams thought he might never get the chance to return to the franchise and says that he was more than happy to get the opportunity to reprise the role in a new trilogy. Lando is first seen giving our heroes some directions to help them find the Sith coordinates of the Wayfinder. But Lando's biggest role in the movie is gathering reinforcements from all over the galaxy to help Rey and the others in their quest to defeat the Emperor. In a franchise that wants to capture the magic of its earlier installments, it makes perfect sense for another classic character to do his part to help out. While it's too late to see him get an on-screen reunion with Han Solo, seeing Lando piloting his ship and appearing to save the day is a tribute that will satisfy fans of the series while leaving them nostalgic for the original films. The new Star Wars trilogy has been criticized for surrounding Rey with a bunch of men who seem to want her affection: Poe, Finn, and Kylo. We do get a touching moment between Kylo and Rey when he gives her his remaining life force, which satisfies our need to see the two finally become friends. But Rey doesn't end the movie by choosing someone to pursue a romantic relationship with. The end of the film shows Rey embracing both Finn and Poe at the celebration after the battle, with no more mention of the love triangle that seems to exist between the three of them. Rey not choosing is likely to please fans who didn't think the hero ever really needed to find a love interest in the first place. And we're sure fans who love the friendship between Poe and Finn wouldn't want Rey getting into the middle of things. The ending suggests that the three will continue to be friends, carrying on the legacy of the original trio: Luke, Leia, and Han. In an emotional final scene, Rey and BB-8 go to Luke's birthplace to bury his lightsaber, putting a seemingly definitive end to his story. The Force ghosts of Luke and Leia appear before her, and she tells them that she is Rey Skywalker. Rey taking on the Skywalker name symbolizes the continuation of the story that started with Luke and Leia in A New Hope. Her declaring this to the ghosts of the Skywalker siblings is even more fitting because it demonstrates how their legacy will live on. Throughout the 9 films and within the 42 real-world years since the original film premiered, the Skywalkers have been the heart and soul of the franchise. It's been theorized since The Force Awakens that Rey might be a Skywalker, but it's even more satisfying that she chooses to become a Skywalker after finding out her true lineage and overcoming the dark side. The idea that people can choose to be good and choose their fate is one that Star Wars has represented and grappled with throughout throughout all 3 trilogies. The characters often struggle with choosing to do the right thing, which makes a series that takes place in space seem much more human. The ending of The Rise of Skywalker may leave fans saying goodbye to many iconic characters, but we can't help but feel like the galaxy is in good hands with people like Rey around to protect it. Do you think Episode 9 of the Star Wars franchise delivered a satisfying ending? What were your favorite or least favorite moments in the film? Let us know in the comments section below, and hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to The Binger for more.